Hello and welcome to One United. My name is Paritosh Joshi and we're back at One United with Wali Siddiqui, Ekas Singh, who screamed Jai Hind Dosto right at the start of this podcast, and Anshuman Joshi. Welcome to all of you. In today's podcast, we'll be talking about the international break. And finally, club football is back after a long break of 15 days. Now, firstly, we'll have to talk about the international break. A few games happened. England played quite well. Rashford had to come back to United midway through the camp to nurse to his injury. First of all, I'll go towards Anshuman. Anshuman, what do you think about the whole situation, and how do you think this international break is going to be for United?
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I really did not watch any football in the international break. I have to be very honest. I used this 2 weeks as a palate cleanser, and I really avoided watching any football. I tried to get my sleep schedule back. I did follow the results. There were some pretty interesting results. I mean, North Macedonia recently beat Germany, and the England under 21s had a really shambolic situation. And England, the I mean, the whole the England senior team is the whole thing. They have an easy qualification group for the World Cup qualifiers. They beat San Marino as they were supposed to do. Then they beat Albania, which was a bit cagey match. And so yeah, I mean, I didn't really follow. There were a few moments, highlights. I mean, that Ronaldo goal that should have gone in, and then him throwing the ball,
Yeah,
throwing his captain's armband, and then marching off. And now Norway and Germany coming out in the human rights to stand up again to voice about the human rights because of the human rights issues that are going in Qatar because of the stadiums they are building for the World Cup. So they were narratives. But as far as the football is concerned, I think a lot of I won't be alone in this because I've been listening to a lot of people, and a lot of people have said that we just really use this international break to cool down, replenish ourselves, and just wait for the club football to resume. And the club football is back this weekend, so I think we are all very happy and looking to some actual football, as Wally was saying before we started recording.
yeah, some actual football. Well, Harry Maguire scored, our captain, so that's a good positive to look at for United fans.
He
Harry
did.
Kane also scored in a 2-1 win against Poland. Wally, I'll come to you now. How do you think the international break went for you and for the teams as well?
Well, from the perspective of a Manchester United fan, and considering the fact that we got knocked out of the FA Cup, I think it was a welcome break for all of us because this is for the very first time after a really, really long time that I actually enjoyed United not playing for the past few weeks. And but yeah, the good thing is that they will be back once again, and so basically it's a good balance over here. And we just hope that we start playing well again. And but we know that it's going to be really difficult. But yeah, some good matches like Anshuman said over here. Harry Maguire scored a really good goal. There was the meme going on between Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo that who should be taking the penalties for Portugal. And then yes, Marcus Rashford. I did not understand why they sent him to England because he was clearly injured, and now I have no clue as to what his status is. Will he start against Brighton? Anthony Martial's injured; he'll be missing a couple of matches as well. Paul Pogba played really well, so there was some good
Yeah.
individual performance if we talk about Manchester United. And it'll be interesting to see now that United is back in action. And let's just hope, man, we end the season with a bang. We win a trophy because this is the final push of this season, and we have to be in the top four as well. This is something which I expect. Let's just see if they stand up to it.
Okay, Ikas, coming to you. Did you watch any international games, or how was the break for you?
I did not watch any game. I just watched a highlight of the Portugal Serbia, and that
Yeah.
was it. And no, I haven't watched any other game besides cricket. But I
Yeah,
was
same
very
here.
frustrated with United, and I thought it was definitely something which we should have welcomed. The break was very, very, very needed, and we needed a break from United. So yeah, I did not watch any other game.
Okay, we have comments already. Deadly Clown says, "Is it time for Donny instead of Fred in the midfield, or else Pogba keeps his spot?" Well, both can be true. Pogba can keep his spot with Fred being replaced by Donny. We'll talk about it as the AX journey is being adored by Anshuman in this particular podcast, so we'll have to talk about Donny van de Beek. And now I'll shift focus from the international break to club football. Club football is back, and we'll be talking about Manchester United. in particular. Manchester United go against Brighton in the Premier League on the 5th of April, 12 a.m. IST. And this is going to be a tough game. We had a very tough game against Brighton, somehow got away with it in the first few games of the season. And now it's Brighton yet again, and I hope they are going to put up a great fight. Graham Potter has said that United got away last time, and that he's going to learn from his mistakes. So it is going to be an interesting watch. Anshuman, I'll move to you. How do you think the Brighton game is going to pan out for United?
I mean, that was an interesting game. The last time we faced them, wasn't it? I mean, we won the game after the full time whistle was blown. So that was something new. And apparently, Brighton have never won against Manchester United at Old Trafford, which means they are very likely to win because apparently we just over the past 8 years that's what has happened. Like every team wins at Old Trafford, and apparently it turns out to be that it's their first win in 40, 50 years. I just don't know how those stats pop up, but it's supposed it just happens with every team. Brighton have been playing decently, but I think that has been the story of the season that they have played well, and despite that, the results have not come. And I think before international break, they beat Southampton 2 goals to 1. That was again a decent performance by them. And I think it was Leandro Trossard and Danny Welbeck scored near identical goals, both of them. So they are playing well. Their biggest problem throughout the season has been that they have not been able to convert their chances. I mean, if you are a matrix nerd, you will have read a lot many times that they are not able to live up to their XG, and so that is something that we need to be worried about because every team that we talk about every time we come on the show and we talk about team that is not performing well, that always ends up performing well against us, and that is the one thing. They are not being clinical. So it will be interesting to see if they end up scoring a few goals against us. It's not likely, but with Manchester United, you just never know. And as far as we are concerned, we have injury issues going on as well because Martial and Victor Lindelof are clearly out, and Rashford has his issues. Today in the press conference, Oli said that if he is able to clear tomorrow's session, I think then he'll be given a chance to play. I'm not really sure if he should be playing because I remember the clip he had when he was limping into St. George's Park when he was chosen for international duty. That was really worrying for me to see because there is still 2 months worth of football left. And I think if we can preserve Rashford for a couple of weeks, we can give him a rest so that he can come back. I think that should be our priority. So yeah, we are also have a lot of injury issues. We did not go into the international break with ending in a decent run because despite we got clear against Milan and we lost against Leicester City. So we really needed to. When you lose a match of that proportion, you really just want to get another match and just win another match. And I think that's what United should be trying to do going into this match. That victory should be our priority. I'm not sure how much of a performance that we are going to give. So yeah, I think that is the kind of phase we are ending in the business end of the season. That points should take priority rather than the performances.
Okay, so according to Anshuman, points should be the priority for United. Akis, if you are here with us, will you be able to shed some light upon the Brighton game?
I actually think that the Brighton game is very winnable, and but knowing United where we stand and what are we doing, I am sure we're gonna just settle for a draw. But we have another added incentive that City is playing Leicester, and we can either close the gap up top or from
You
Leicester.
still have
So
hope?
I mean, I do because we screwed up 8 point lead with 7 games in hand with Sir Alex Ferguson. So there is some kind of hope because anything can happen in the Premier League, but it's most likely not. But again, you got to take your chances, otherwise, you'll never know what you could do.
And we have another few comments. Abhishek Dubey says Haaland kahin nahi jayega. Kuch to rehna do Dortmund mein. Well, sadly for you, Abhishek, Haaland is going because Mino Raiola is doing the rounds of the whole of Europe. डॉर्टमुंड में कुछ नहीं रहने वाला है और it's just sad because that's the state of the club. They produce gem after gems and then these gems leave the club for another destination, and that's the sad part. It's a club which has had the likes of Mario Götze, Marco Reus, Robert Lewandowski, Blas Schafowski, Shinji Kagawa, and Hummels, all these players together, and still they weren't able to win the Champions League when they lost against Bayern Munich when Ian Raven scored that goal in the final few minutes. So that's just sad, and especially with the kind of monopoly that Bayern Munich has in the Bundesliga, it's very hard for any club to break that stronghold, especially someone like Borussia Dortmund, who are already in some kind of moral debt against these Bavarian giants. Because time again, we have seen this happen that whenever a star shines for Dortmund, Bayern Munich more often than not, or any for any club, if a player is playing really well, Bayern Munich come along and they just pick him up and they get their deal done in very few. Uh, I'll not say few, the very less amount of money, but comparatively, given the international market right now, they have been able to get away with cheaper deals. So, Abhishek, sorry for you. Haaland is going to go away. Bayern Munich are not interested right now, but his preferred locations as of now are Barcelona and Real Madrid. Although Mino Raiola and Haaland's father are now going to England to talk to the big clubs. So we'll have to wait and see because this saga is going to continue for long. If we are talking about Haaland, we'll just shift our focus from a Brighton game. We'll be talking about the lineup and score predictions, but let's talk about this for a quick second. The Haaland transfer saga has started, and I think this is going to be a long, long one because of the involvement of Miro Raiola. Prices are going to go way up than we all expect because of the market and if fans are coming back to the stadiums, that's going to be an issue. Also, the fact that if Haaland if Borussia want Haaland to stay for one more year, then the release clause is $75 million, if I'm not wrong. 75 million euros, I think, if not dollars. That is the release clause for 2022. So if he stays for one more year, that is more detrimental to Borussia Dortmund because they won't be able to get their money's worth. They have already suffered this with Jadon Sancho, and I don't think they'll be going for the similar approach with Haaland. They'll be transferring him in this particular window. But that's my take. Let's talk to other guests on the panel. Let's talk to Anshuman first. Anshuman, what do you think about the Haaland transfer saga?
Well, Mino Raiola recently had an interview with the Athletic, and I think it was in that interview that he intimated that maybe Holland did not need this transfer because the entire idea of going to Dortmund is that as far as the young players are concerned, this is a brilliant step for you, an intermediary step for you that you can stay here for a couple of years before you actually make a big club move. Which is why they bought him and they kept him. They had a release clause on him, and the release clause stands at 75 million euros for the summer for June 2022. That was interesting because when Dortmund bought him, they thought that this would be quite an upgrade. Like they were buying him for like something like 20, 30 million. They bought him for, and then they expected that 75 would be a clear cut a profit, which it will be. But in 18 months, Holland has proven that he did not really need an intermediate move. He has been explosive. He came to the club all guns blazing, and that he has been. That's exactly what he has been. And currently, it feels like he has already outgrown Dortmund. And there was that, I think they had a 2-2 draw recently in their last match, and he was seen storming off the pitch. So there were already alarming signs that maybe he also feels like this is not going to work out. The interesting thing with his transfer saga is that first of all, it's Raiola, so everything Raiola does is going to attract a lot of traction. So, but the other thing with Haaland is that, as you said, Farid, that he has a 75 million release clause, and Dortmund currently are not. It's not clear cut that they are going to make Champions League right now because, as far as they are concerned, they tried playing hardball with Jadon Sancho last summer, and now they're going to have to let him go for relatively less money. And they were hoping that this summer they would leave Sancho. And they were hoping that next summer Haaland would go. And they were not really hoping that both of them to go because they are their biggest guns right now. They have a lot of young players. That is their modus operandi. That's how they work. But as far as the biggest assets are considered, it's Sancho and Haaland. And they were hoping that this season it would be Sancho and then next season it would be Haaland. They are in a precarious situation because now they stand to lose both of them. Especially if they don't make the Champions League. Because if they don't make the Champions League, they are not going to stay. They're going to want to wait. And Dortmund, whatever leverage that they have, they're still trying to play hardball. I think there were rumors like Dortmund are going to demand 180 million. I'm not sure which club is going to buy him for 180 million if he has a release clause of 75. So Dortmund are in a very I do they any kind of leverage that they thought they had, they are losing it very quickly. So it will be interesting to see how really they continue going about this. As far as I'm concerned with what Raiola has been doing, I think I've seen over the past couple of days that from Fabrizio Romano to every single social media troll, everyone's just following him like anything, and it really just frustrates me because at the end of the day, every time I read a post like Mino Raiola is in Barcelona, he's in Madrid, it just sounds to me like a guy does his job. Like this is what he's supposed to do. He's a football agent. He's supposed to go to the club and talk to their situations and this is a prospective player and what project can you give him. That's what he's supposed to do. But just because it's Mino Raiola, every single thing that he's supposed to do is create traction and unnecessary attention. That's just what we see with Pogba. Every time he has a new haircut, it's supposed to be the talk of the town. So it has really frustrated me because I think people try to give a lot more value to Raiola than he deserves. He's just a football agent. That's something that he tries to say as well. So I think if I know that we are not going to cool off of him, but yeah, it gets really frustrating after the point when a football agent get as much traction as a football player. But I think that is what Raiola is as well. But yeah, exactly. What he's doing right now is nothing different than what a football agent does anyway. So we know that a lot of clubs are courting Haaland. Barcelona are trying to get him because if nothing, they might be able to drive a new decade-long narrative with Mbappe going to Real Madrid and then Haaland going to Barca. So maybe they can have another decade-long rivalry, which they had with Cristiano and Messi, which really is dwindling down at this moment in time. I don't know how much money Barcelona have. I think we can have a separate discussion on who has actually the finances because Barca need to make a lot of money for that to happen. So I think what currently is happening is that he's trying to find how much water are each football club in because clubs don't have money. They are going to have to come up with different solutions as to how they are going to finance the Haaland transfer. And I think I would still say there's a good chance that he might stay for in Dortmund for another year if Dortmund make the Champions League. And I think his entire entourage, led by his father and Raiola, might tell him that look, clubs are going to come for you next season. It's going to be easier for them to come for you next season. If they make the Champions League, stay for another year. It's going to be great for you. You will get another chance of stat padding. I still think there is a chance for that. But if Dortmund do not make the Champions League, then I don't think he's going to stay. Is that not just the kind of player? And there are going to be a lot of teams for him. City are going to be in for him now that they are bidding Aguero farewell. And United are, but I just think that every time United's name is mentioned in social media, in a social media post, it's just to get traction because you will not get as many social media interactions by just mentioning Manchester City than you will get by just ending your post with the mentioning just Manchester United are also interested. That's how we get linked with half of the players all the time. So yeah, there is a lot to talk about here as far as Haaland is concerned. And I think as the season progresses, we'll see where Dortmund ends up with this situation and whether they actually need to let him go. So I think this is not obviously not the last we have heard of this saga, and we'll be discussing much more and more as the season ends.
Okay, Anshuman with some information because he has been holding back for the past 15 days. So he let go this time for Holland and Mino Raiola. Wally, what are your thoughts about the whole transfer saga and how long do you think this is going to go on for
Well,
Holland and for clubs?
one thing is for certain, Mino Raiola has two big bags of money. That one is Paul Pogba, and the other is Erling Haaland right now. He's going to be the richest man in 2021 at this rate of time in a span of 2 or 3 months. But the thing is, the reason why we're talking about this topic is because obviously he's being linked to Manchester United. Let's be very honest, but we all know within ourselves that he's not going to sign for Manchester United because if Ole Gunnar, and the only reason why they're linking him with United at the moment is because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that he coached him at Molde. But if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted him, he could have signed him when he actually met him before he signed for Borussia Dortmund. If he didn't sign then I have no. I honestly don't think that he's going to sign a contract for United right now, especially considering the fact that it's been quite unstable at the club. If you look at the hierarchical figure, if you look at the way we play, we do not know whom we're going to win against. We do not know who we're going to lose against. And yes, Dortmund is the perfect stepping stone. It's basically like one of those Indian universities which have the 100% placement record because that is something which Dortmund
The world is here.
guarantees you. The world is here, yeah, because even I was from that. So anyway, the thing is that Erling Haaland, yeah, he's the hottest property in football in Europe right now. And it's written in the stars right now. I feel that Manchester City are going to sign this guy. It's written in the stars. They have it in them to afford that guy. They can pay his wages quite easily. Then you have Kun Aguero leaving. And even if you look at the way that they play, they provide amples and amples of opportunities uh, for the strikers to score goals. And if Pep Guardiola doesn't win the Champions League, then you can write it. Then you can write it down wherever you want that they're going to sign Erling Haaland because he might just be that end product which will get Manchester City to win that trophy that they've been craving for. And that is something which upsets me a lot because City right now, players that they're talking about Erling Haaland and they're talking about Jack Grealish. Meanwhile, us at Manchester United, we're talking about bringing back Jesse Lingard. So, it's just levels. Basically, we are on the defense, City's on the attack. They don't even need to attack because they're so good at the moment. And we're the second best team, apparently. So, yeah, it's kind of upsetting. Erling Haaland, I think he's going to join Manchester City. I don't think the La Liga clubs, they've been struggling as well financially. I think Real Madrid might instead sign Kylian Mbappe. That would be more reasonable considering Zinedine Zidane's connection and all that. But yeah, Manchester City, Erling Haaland, that seems like the perfect connection. And if he does join Manchester City, then let's just guarantee ourselves 5 more uh, years of
Pain.
failures in the Premier League. So we are not going to win the Premier League anytime soon. So just forget it.
I don't think I have a quite different take on this because I believe this is going to be again a Real Madrid Barcelona thing. And what I believe is going to happen in the transfer window is that Messi is leaving because as far as things stand, Messi will go to PSG, I think.
It's going to be an
With
exciting transfer market. Ronaldo, Messi,
yeah,
Pogba, Haaland, Sancho, like five or six
and what
quality players.
what will trigger the Messi transfer will be the signing of Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid. Then Messi will go for PSG, where Neymar and Messi will combine, and Haaland. Then Barcelona will finally have the funds, given that they have offloaded Messi to afford a top player, and then they'll go for Haaland. This is what I believe is going to happen. I don't know how it is going to pan out, but this is a prediction that I'm making.
So you think Haaland will join a La Liga club? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. I think it's going to be
Anshuman,
Barcelona.
where do you think he'll sign? Which club is he going to play for next after
I
Dortmund?
think as far as I think we have discussed this before that as far as spending 75 million to buy Holland, that's not the problem. Even Everton can spend 75 million. Like the club who gets relegated from the Premier League after 20th position gets 99 million or so. So it's not about buying Holland. It's about giving him the right project. And as far as the project is considered, I think Manchester City are the best place for him. They are going. They are like they are bidding Sergio Aguero goodbye at the end of the season as far as providing him the best platform. He's undisputed there. Gabriel Jesus is good, but he's not prolific. Holland is,
No.
and that is right there. I think he fits right into whatever Pep Guardiola will ask him to play. He's incredibly flexible with the way he plays. I mean, it's not just a big bulky guy who can stand in the middle and just shoot goals. And he runs, and he's very quick. He's very good on the ball. He's one of those complete forwards that players like even pundits and analysts and players are not able to understand what he is. That is why we see all these memes
These
that Holland is an
he is
absolute robot.
I if I have to draw comparison, he is somewhat like Thierry Henry. Somewhat like Thierry Henry. The style of play is similar of sorts. The
I
tall,
compare him to the Brazilian
strong
Ronaldo.
guy. No, Brazilian Ronaldo was very nimble on his feet. Haaland is a power striker. Brazilian Ronaldo was someone who will cut 3 4 players and then also shoot from outside the goal. Haaland is someone who'll bully the defenders. So I think this is more on the Henry side, but that's just personal opinion. Meanwhile,
This slightly off topic, but one thing that
yeah,
I would like to say is that although I am a big fan of Haaland, but if there was a centre forward that I would go for and that Manchester United right now need, it's Harry Kane. Because if you look at his
uh,
overall play, we need someone who's experienced enough, not just only in scoring goals, but creating opportunities as well, and to lead the offense. I think Harry Kane would be the perfect signing if he is out there.
Harry Kane could also be on the move because Tottenham are not looking
He
like
needs
they're
to be
winning
on the
anything.
move. He needs to be on the move.
Uh,
He's not going to win
and
anything.
for him to at least have some credibility on his name, with all the goals that he has scored, he needs to move to a club which promises him some trophies at least. So I think he's on the move, and that could be a big one for United. But we'll have to wait. This is a very far off thing. I think
Yeah,
we'll have to head back to our regular
Brighton.
chit chat about the Brighton game, and we'll talk about the lineups and score predictions. But I just now remember that we have forgotten something. Our FA Cup exit. We didn't really talk about it. We never came online after the game because uh, most of us were way too pissed off to be recording a podcast. So, do you want to have it talk about it, or we'll just move on?
No, I'll just talk about it briskly. I'll make it three
Okay.
or 4 minutes
Yeah, you can talk.
max.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Yeah. So another cup exit, and
Yeah.
it was Brendan Rodgers basically schooling Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because if you look at his second goal, right, that was a complete a blueprint of what the coach wants from you. There were 29 passes before Yuri Telemans went in and scored that goal. This is something which I crave for as a Manchester United fan. I want us to not only be dangerous on the counter attack, but I want us to be dangerous while having the ball as well. This is something which I haven't seen. I do not know why. The interim manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knew how to do that. The permanent manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he relies on counter attack for some reason. I do not know why he's sticking with Fred and Scott McTominay. He took off Donny van de Beek and Paul Pogba when you were trailing. When you were trailing, if you had the lead, for example, if you were leading 2-1, then I could understand that you're bringing in Fred or McTominay. But if you're trailing, why do you take out your two most creative players? And if he says that Pogba is injured, then why has he playing Rashford through injury for quite some time now? So this is what I don't get. If Pogba is fit enough to start, then you should actually play him for 90 minutes. So, and the worst part is that if we had advanced into the semi-finals, we would have got Southampton, and I think we could have beat them, and we would have been in the finals. And we would have, I think we're the only team that is capable of beating Manchester City, and that could have probably prevented a treble or a quadruple because they're on course of that. So it was completely ballistic for me that day. Although I wasn't shocked, I thought that we had it coming. Leicester are a very good team. Let's be very honest with ourselves. They're a terrific team. Brendan Rodgers is a good manager, and they have some quality players. Let's not forget they had James Madison and and a few more first teamers missing. In spite of that, they played really good football. And Ilnacho, we saw that. He was good
He's
at the
in red
centre
hot
forward
form.
region.
He's in a
He's
very
in red
good form.
hot form. So
Hmm.
yeah, my thing is, if you want to control a game, you need to have your best players in central midfield. I do not care if Paul Pogba is not a central midfielder or whatever you want to play him up front. Play him there, play him along. There was one comment not so long ago who said that if we play Paul Pogba, Donny van de Beek, and Bruno Fernandes all together, then we would be shaky at the back. But one thing I guarantee you is that if we play these three, we will be much better with the ball, and we'll play the beautiful football over there. That I guarantee you. So this is what I want from we want. I want our team to be brave.
Okay, Wally, about the FA Cup exit and the tactics deployed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the manager of Manchester United. Anshuman, do you have anything to say about the FA Cup exit?
After we were knocked out, there were a lot of things that were on my mind that we could have done this, we could have done that. Why did we not do this? Why did we not do that? But I think the simplest answer is that on that day, Leicester just outplayed us. They were the better team through and through. I thought a lot of about the formation. I think starting with the midfield diamond made a lot of sense against them because they were starting with a 3-4-3 and essentially their midfield were based in Didi and Yuri Tielemans. And as good as they are, you would think that a midfield diamond would be able to. The idea I think Ole had an idea that if we can win them in the midfield, their other players are not as good enough to be able to deal with it. And to a certain degree, that would have helped because the first goal we conceded against the run of play because we were trying to play out from the back. And the issue I have with playing out from the back is that if you don't have the players for it, it's not going to work out. And I know that people have made the argument that statistically over the course of the season in a league, even if you're going to fuck up 3 to 4 times, the number of chances that it gives you by playing out from the back is so much that it actually makes sense to play out from the back. I agree with it. But the thing is, in the league, even if you fuck up in one match, even if you lose one match, like City did, you can still be miles ahead and you can make up in your other matches because losing one match does not decide your season. In a cup competition, on the other hand, it does, and it did because we lost, and we can play Leicester 10 times and we can win 7 times. But in a cup competition, if you don't play well, you are out. And that's what happened. On that day, there were a lot of things that could have worked for us and they did not work. Leicester were brilliant. Leicester had a plan. They executed it to perfection. We did not. We conceded that first goal and then we scored another goal. So we went into the second half 1-1. We still had a chance. We come out in the second half knowing that if we win, we will go and play Southampton. So we had a great chance to at least end our semi-final up. Even if we were to lose against Manchester City at the end of the in the final, that would have been fine. But that I think would be my frustration that we knew we were going to face Southampton, and no disrespect to Southampton, I think we would have had a great chance against them. So that is my one frustration. I don't think the game plan was still fine. One another thing was that I don't like the way because Pledge was kept on the pitch because he was not playing well. I understand that you have to keep him if he plays well. I know what he offers, but if he's not playing well, he becomes a liability, which he did because he was responsible for the first goal as well. And then I think there was some culpability between him and Lindelof to allow Yuri Tielemans as much space as he gave him, so that he was able to score the game. And then there was the good old what was that? It was a set piece. We conceded from a set piece. So, there was nothing new about the way we played. Yeah, once again. So, we have played out of the park, simple as that. There were a lot of things I would have liked Van de Beek to stay
Leicester
on
played
the
really
pitch
well.
and Brecht to go off the pitch. Yeah. And I understood why Pogba was taken off. He was injured, so he had to be taken off, and Bruno was brought on. I completely understand that. But bottom line is, we did not play well, and we were knocked out. And I'm fine with that. All the frustrations notwithstanding, I understand that we did not play him. That can happen in any season. But because the narrative this season is that every match that Manchester United does not win is a match we end up in crisis, we are going to have this kind of discussion. And hashtag only out is always going to trend. So we know how this plans out. And the only way we can shut this is by winning our next match. So that's what I hope that we do now.
Okay, so let's close the episode today with lineup and score predictions for the Manchester United versus Brighton game. What do you think is going to be the lineup for Manchester United? Wally, you go first.
I'm not sure about the De Gea and Dean Henderson thing right now. I'm not sure who he's going to start. So I think I'll go with Dean Henderson right now. Although I'm a big fan of De Gea, but I think he's going to persist with Dean Henderson. Then Luke Shaw, he needs to be back at left back. He had a good international break as well. A good thing for my. And then centre back pairing, it has to be Harry Maguire once again, along with Victor Lindelof, of course.
Victor Lindelof is out.
Oh, he's out. So Eric Bailly. So it's Eric Bailly.
Yeah.
Then right back, it has to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now midfield is something which pisses me off a lot. It's gonna be Fred once again, and along with Fred, I just hope that it's Paul Pogba and Dan James on the right, because he's also been playing quite well for United as well as for Wales recently. Bruno Fernandes definitely as the number 10. Martial is injured, so it has to be Ederson, Cavani centre forward, or would he go with Greenwood? That would be interesting. I think he's going to go with Cavani. And
Greenwood is
left,
also trying to be fit. Greenwood is not fully fit, but he'll try to be fit. But so Greenwood can play.
Okay. So Rashford is injured too. So who would play on the left? That is something which
Rashford is in training, so that's going to be interesting if he is.
Okay, even if he's half fit, even if he's 50% fit, I know that he's going to start. So I'll go with Rashford on the left. So that's what I.
Rashford is in training, so he'll play. If he's in training, he's going to play. Anshuman, what are your thoughts about the whole about the game?
I think as far as the game, I think. So Oli has categorically ruled out Victor Lindelof and Martial for Sunday's match. And as far as Rashford and Greenwood are concerned, he has said that if they're able to complete their last fitness training before the match, so they will be able to feature. So I would personally not want Rashford to play because I just look at him limping and I just feel like he needs a break. And as much as we can give him so that we can have in more important matches, that should be a priority. Otherwise, the whole team is back. It will be interesting to see what happens with Dean Henderson and David De Gea. And we already have had a different discussion regarding who we think should be the number one going ahead. But right now, I would like to see who he chooses because Dean has really done a decent job for whatever reason that De Gea had to go. But that is not the point. The point that Dean got that chance and Dean really played well. Dean really has performed well. And we are coming on the back of a relatively decent defensive record if you just ignore the Leicester match that we immediately had. So I think it'd be interesting to see who he picks up in goalkeeping. As far as the defense is considered, I think since Lindelof is out, Bai is going to feature alongside Maguire. It's going to be Luke Shaw. It's going to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's going to be usual 4-2-3-1. I think that is the likeliest uh, the possibility here. Sturridge and McTominay are going to feature once again. And number 10 will be Bruno. Cavani is back apparently, and Dan James was in form, scored a goal for Wales in the international break, so he's going to feature again. I would like to see what he does along in the wing, because he has played Pogba on the left and on the right as far as wings are concerned. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll feature him on the left and then he feature Dan James on the right, or vice versa is also a possibility. I don't think Ahmad is going to feature from the start. I think he's going to play from the bench. That I think should be the case. So yeah, I think there's a good chance that Pogba will start either of the wings, and I would love to see Donny start, but I just don't know what's going to happen. Right? I'm no longer making any clear-cut chances as to when and how Donny is going to face. So yeah,
Well,
that is my starting lineup for tomorrow, for Sunday.
The sad thing is,
yeah,
Donny always
Donny.
scores for Netherlands in the international break, and then he
Yeah,
sits on the bench when he's back.
I just feel bad for the guy, man. When he substituted, his face is so. It's like he's no, not me, not again, and it's so sad to see that a talented guy has to go through this.
Hmm.
Moving on, let's finish it off with the prediction, the score predictions. Wali, what is going to be the final goal prediction for you in the Manchester United versus Brighton game?
It's going to be a tough game. Brighton, they played us off the park in the reverse fixture, and we somehow managed to win that game. And I think Graham Potter is a really good coach. Let's not forget that they beat Liverpool at Anfield. That's where the floodgates opened. So I think it's going to be a good contest over here. We will once again try to hit them on the counter attack, and I think we might just nick it. I'm trying to be a little optimistic. I think it's going to be 2-1 for United.
2-1 United according to Wali Anshuman. What do you think is going to be the final score?
I think if we are doing predictions, we have to give Manchester United the benefit of the doubt. I would still say that we can win this game 2-0, so 2-0 is what I'm going with.
2-0 for Anshuman. For me, it is going to be a 1-0, either in favor or in or against United, because this is a game that Brighton can win. I'm not going to give false hopes to myself or to anybody else, because Brighton are a really tough team, and they have I think one or two injuries. Else then everybody is back for them. Every test has gone through. Nobody's suffering from COVID. So this is going to be a very tough game. And Danny Welbeck is also going to play for them. So this is going to be interesting.
Mm.
Uh, so I think it can either be in favor or against United. 1-0 is going to be the scoreline. But let's see. I think that's that. Any final thoughts, Anshuman?
Nah, I think it's great to have club football back, and let's see how we perform going into the business end.
Okay, Anshuman. Vali, what do you think? Any final
Yeah,
thoughts?
for 2 weeks I was having a really nice sleep, and finally the insomnia returns.
The,
So
the wretched,
the
the
insomnia,
wretched.
yeah, the insomnia returns from tomorrow onwards. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's part and parcel. Let's just see what happens. Hope we win, man.
Hope we win, and let's see. We'll see you guys again, hopefully after the game. And yeah, thank you for watching. Good night. Shabba khair. Peace.